Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniatures. Today I had to get this to you, hopefully in time, because when I saw this, I could not resist. So today we're going to talk about some of the latest releases from Albino Raven. Now, Albino Raven started off doing a bit of sci-fi stuff originally, and then they really seem to have found their spot in the 3D printing world doing modern soldiers. And we'll get to the soldiers in a minute, but let's focus on the cool stuff. And this month for November, which is almost over, by the way, if you're watching this when I air it the first time, they're doing a set of hazmat wearing modern spec ops, black ops, whatever you want to call it, but they've got the scientists in the hazmat suits too. And so if you've listened, we love post-apocalyptic stuff here at Obscurities and Miniatures, and my brother and I are really big fans of the stuff. But one of the things that we've long wanted to do is a modern black ops, science gone awry type situation if we can ever get around to actually gaming again. But my brother is really big into Zona Alfa as well. And so this whole release was nothing but dudes in gas masks and hazmat suits. And unfortunately, I gave him all of my hazmat guys, but they have a whole set of troops in hazmat suits with heavy weapons, with submachine guns, with the whole kit and caboodle. Oh, here we go. When you need to burn it with fire, we've got hazmat guys with flamethrowers. How can you not want to have guys with heavy hazmat suits and flamethrowers? And on top of that, there's guys with like laser cannons and plasma guns and stuff. So if you really want to get into the sci-fi angle or the post-apocalyptic angle, if you want to go Enclave or something like that, that's a possibility as well. But in addition to all that, then they actually went and made a set of Black Ops, Spec Ops type dudes. And there's at least, I want to say, about 10 poses here. And you'll notice they don't have any heads, and we'll talk about that in a sec. Where are the other ones? Oh, I just grabbed 3 bases, but I didn't even print all the bodies. There's like 3 different snipers. There's about 6 or 7 guys with assault rifles. Dude with a minigun, if we can get in focus there. Possibly, maybe. And my printer was being really stupid at the time, and then you can see he's got like a partial foot there, but that's something the little green stuff can't fix. So that's just a couple of the bodies there. And like I said, I didn't print everything. I love the dude with the dual pistols, though. But the cool thing is they put out about 10 different gas-masked heads as well with a variety of styles. So if you wanted to do the whole post-apocalyptic angle, or if you want to just play tabletop Stalker, or if you want to do Zona Alpha, you've got yourself a whole slew of pieces to make the most nondescript, generic, modern day or near future soldiers. Nothing wants to stay in place. But all of these different head types are completely different. You got dudes with goggles and masks, and nothing's in focus here. That's fun. Still not really. There's respirator guys. There's just hoods, face masks, scrubs. Oh, yeah, there's like a whole set of dudes in scrubs. There's a big genetically engineered human experimentation monster. Here's a guy just like a regular face mask. So there's a ton of options. And then today, when I started filming this, I got a notification from them that they put out an entire lab. So there's not only all these guys, there's probably close to 20 different figures available just for this 1 month's Patreon, but there's also an entire laboratory setup you can print out. So if you've got access to an FDM printer and you want to print out a bunch of lab tiles and all the equipment to go with them, you've got yourself a wonderfully fantastic, it reminds me, I hate to say it, as childish as it may be, but it reminds me of the place that I used to have as a kid. Some of those old fantasy ones, they were just like these cheap cardboard setups, but to me, it's a lot of the same kind of play value, even if it's gaming with others. It to me feels very similar. I used to have like this old volcano made out of like really thin cardboard, and it had like a bunch of plastic lava men in it, like maybe a knight or a wizard too. It was just, I loved it. I remember getting that at Toys R Us. So despite the fact that I'm not going to bother with the heads really here, I know a lot of concerns may be the size. I know when I gave a few of these to my brother after I was so jazzed about getting them, he's like, whoa, they're too tall. They're way too tall. And that could be the case. Keeping in mind, though, that they are 3D printed, so you can decide for yourself just how large you want them. Okay, using our Marines as our good standbys, and everybody I think is standing up right here. You can see they're pretty tall, but then if I grab like a human-sized Necromunda model, who also, you know, is going to be more the size of stuff like Anvil Industries or Digital Forge, they're going to be a little shorter, a little stockier. Looking what else I have handy that's relatively human. Nothing much. Okay, so yeah, that's true. Oh, here, we got a War Games Atlantic Afghan. Why an Afghan? Well, because those guys are a little bit more in line with the size I'm thinking. So you can see there is a bit of a size discrepancy. However, that's for the more physical stuff. You know, if you're going the digital route, you can fine tool it anyway. But then I started thinking, what about some of the other sci-fi or near future Patreon stuff for 3D printable stuff? And my first thought went to Unit 9. So then I went and grabbed a bunch of the security Yakuza type dudes they have, and whoa, lo and behold, they work perfectly. They look great with them. Of course, if you had matching base sizes, that would easily fix things, but again, I think they fit in really well. They are closer to 32 millimeter, so I mean, here I haven't even put him up yet, but using one of the Death High resins from Kingdom Death, you can see he's pretty good size. They all match well together. Then I went and thought, what about Cyberforge's stuff? Titanforge's sister Patreon. Well, he's an orc, so that doesn't really count, but using one of the more human models here, and our Big Bob Watts stand-in. Whee, heads are flying. You can see, I don't think that there's going to be a huge discrepancy. So, printing it as is, if you're going to have it mix in with other near-future sci-fi, dystopian, cyberpunk type stuff, I think these are gonna work great. If you want to fine-tune it, be aware of it, because I wasn't as I started printing it, so that is something else to keep in mind. But honestly and truly, that's not even including all the junk in the welcome box, too. I think if you wanted to try out any of the other Osprey games, or if you had some kind of other interesting, you know, near-future or modern Black Ops, Spec Ops, Insurgency type rule set, I think it might work great with these guys. Want to have them take out a zombie apocalypse? Hey, perfect. Why else wouldn't you be wearing hazmat gear, right? So I just think there's a lot of cool stuff, and I got to give Albino Raven credit. They've been plugging away at this, and it doesn't seem like they get a whole lot of recognition, and the fact that they're kind of really carving out their own little corner of the 3D printing world does deserve that, because they really have stuck to their guns of making modern soldiers, and nobody else really does that, to be honest. So if that's something that you feel might strike your fancy, by all means, do take a look. Like I said, I haven't even touched any of the stuff in the welcome box yet, but if you are remotely interested in playing games like Zona Alpha, or, you know, having a hazmat team for whatever diabolical needs you want, if you want a bunch of, you know, scientists slaving away over computer equipment, it's all there, and it's all within your grasp of 3D printing. I would just say, as soon as you see this video, I would act soon, because, well, November's almost over, and I don't know if they're going to have this stuff available anytime soon on their My Mini Factory page or anywhere else. So do keep that in mind. With that said, I will put a link down below if you guys want to get this while the getting's good, and I will put a link to both the My Mini Factory page and their Patreon. So hopefully we will see some other neat stuff in store from Albino Raven in the near future. With that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.